Hello everyone, back to tuning into today's video, doing GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round-Up for today's video. So, as always, on Sunday, got your eclectic mix map. Going to be looking at things like sea surface temperature, anomalies, solar activity, the QBO, AO, NAO, and the weather next week, 10 days and beyond as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just say that the first video released today was our 7 AM forecast, and we've also released our latest autumn update as well. It's a QBO special. Check that one out if you would like to do that. It'll be live streaming from 6 o'clock tonight, so going to be great. We'll check in and see how we're all doing on this Sunday. It's going to be a hot live stream. It's going to be very warm here in GavsWeatherVids Towers, so we'll see how we get on with that. Right, let's turn the webcam off and get on with your Sunday roundup. So, going to start off with solar activity. This is how the solar disk is looking on our side of the disk today from solarham.net. Got 3 sunspot regions, one just there, and another one just there. Despite that, solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days, as predicted by solarham.net. We have not got the solar tracker this week. Hopefully the solar tracker will be back next week. I can show you the data from Richo. So who am I today? Let's have a look. Who is he? So, it's Gav Boris, or is it Boris Gav? I'm not sure. Well, I'm the Prime Minister today. What could I do as the Prime Minister, I wonder? Thank you so much, Rich, for turning me into the Prime Minister. Wow. I wonder what I could do as a Prime Minister. Right, okay, so here we go then. The current spotty stretch is 0 days, because, of course, I had sunspots yesterday. For 2021 so far, we have had 46 days, I think, or is it 40 days? Not sure, without sunspots. 46, I think. That is 23% of the year. That percentage is gradually coming down, but it's still quite a high percentage really for like the middle of the second year of the solar cycle. But gradually as we go through the year, that percentage is reducing. So about 23% of the year so far without sunspots. That's comparable to 2020, which had 57% of the year without sunspots. And our solar minimum year, of course, was 2019, which had 77% of the year. All looks very similar to the beginning of solar cycle 24. The second year of solar cycle 24 was 2010, which had 14% of the year without sunspots. So at the moment, we've got a higher percentage without sunspots of the year, than 2010. But of course, we're only halfway through this year, so that percentage is likely to reduce further and may actually finish up very close to 2010 in the end. Somewhere around the teens percent without sunspots. I would have thought. Thank you so much, Rich, for turning me into the Prime Minister. Wow. Right, let's have a look at sea surface temperature anomalies then. So this is how the oceans were looking when we did last week's Sunday Round. So we've got our 3 areas of interest. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the Northern Pacific over there. We've got the North Atlantic over here. That's how the oceans were looking when we did last week's Sunday Round-Up. Let's have a look at the very latest then, shall we? So that's it. So I had a further cooling of the ENSO region. I think that's the most important talking point to start off with. So again, let's go back to last week. That's how the equatorial Pacific from Peru to Indonesia, the ENSO region, was looking when we did last week's Sunday Round-Up. This is the latest. I think there has been a further slight reduction in the central sea surface temperature in the central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So it looks like very gradually, week by week, we are inching our way back towards something of a La Nina type signal. In the northern Pacific, or the northeastern Pacific, it remains really warm up there. So let's have a look at last week. Yeah, that's how things looking in the northeastern Pacific last week. This is the latest. So, the sea surface temperature is just here, gone around 5 degrees above average, although close to the coast of Canada and Alaska, for example, and down into North America, it is a little bit cooler than average through there. But I assume, like, this warm area just here is probably being influenced by the massive hot weather that there's been, in western and northwestern parts of America. I would have thought that's probably having a bit of an influence. Over in the North Atlantic, again, this is how things look when we did last week's Sunday Round-Up in the North Atlantic. So that was it just there. Go forwards to this week. we can see that the tropical Atlantic has warmed up a little bit, actually. So it does look pretty warm now, particularly through southern parts of the tropical Atlantic. It's also very warm to the south of Greenland. That's been ongoing for several months now. Pretty warm off the east coast of America as well. We do have this cooler than average area that's set up here to the west, southwest of the UK and Ireland, and generally sort of extending down towards the Atlantic coast of Africa. So it's a little bit cool through there. A little bit reminiscent of sea surface temperature anomalies that we had during the summer of 2018, but not really, not really identical, but a little bit of similarity. I'll just show you those very quick. So generally the Atlantic is in quite a warm state, except for this area close to the UK and Ireland and off the coast of Spain, Portugal and Africa, where it is a little bit cooler. But like the tropical Atlantic, the northern Atlantic, and like the western Atlantic is quite warm. This is how sea surface temperature is up when we have the really hot summer of 2018. So that's June. We have this very strange sort of horseshoe shape of cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies from the south of Greenland to the coast of Africa. What am I doing with that? So that's cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies just there and just there, kind of in a horseshoe shape, and then warmer in between through here. And so that's how, apparently that's very similar to the sea surface temperature anomalies that we saw in the Atlantic in 1976. As you can see, there's not much of a similarity to like June 2018 to right now. I mean, there is a slight sort of similarity through here, but it's much reduced, this year compared to 2018, that cold and average area of sea surface temperature anomalies. This is how things looked in July 2018. So of course this is a very hot month indeed. So cool through the tropical Atlantic, cool to south of Greenland, and warmer through here. Notice this warmer area beginning to break through. That kind of starts to bring or hint and bring an end to the hot summer of 2018. By the time we get through to August 2018, when of course the hot summer has broken, really warm through here and cooler through there, and the Atlantic, tropical Atlantic I should say, beginning to warm up a little bit as well. And so that sea surface temperature anomaly profile sort of coincides with the end of the hot summer of 2018. So anyway, back to this year, there is a little bit of a similarity between sea surface temperature anomalies to west, southwest of UK and Ireland, and then down off the coast of Spain, Portugal to Africa. A little bit of a similarity to 2018, but not really. There are also big differences, particularly in the tropical Atlantic, which is much warmer this year compared to 2018, and also to the south of Greenland. So I'd be surprised if this summer turned out to be as hot as 2018. But then again, you never know. You never know. Right, let's have a look at Southern Oscillation Index. So this is how the SOI is currently looking. So remember, the SOI is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric data measuring air pressures between Darwin and Tahiti. When the SOI is in its positive phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina. When the SOI is in its negative phase, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of El Nino. Right, this is from Bureau of Meteorology and Queensland Government. So the SOI is continuing to swing into a positive state. So that's the reason, I suppose, it's one of the reasons anyway, that sea surface temperature anomalies are starting to show a bit of a La Nina type signal through the equatorial Pacific Ocean. The SOI, the atmospheric setup, is moving into a definitive sort of La Nina type state. So look at these numbers that we've had over the past week or so. Let's start on the 8th of July when we had plus 11.39, but the 9th of July goes more positive at plus 14.71. 10th of July goes even more positive at 16.80. 11th of July, very positive with the SY 14.96. 12th of July, plus 17. 0.24, then even more positive. Look at these numbers. 13th of July, plus 25.18. 14th of July, plus 26.22. 15th of July, plus 37.86. 16th of July, plus 33.05. 17th of July, plus 30.41. 18th of July, but ahead of us in Australia, of course, plus 17.30. Those are very, very positive numbers. The atmospheric state looks like it has swung definitively into a La Nina type setup in the southern Pacific Ocean, and if this carries on, it will start to drive us back into La Nina. So yeah, it looks like La Nina could well be coming back. We'll be keeping a close eye on that over the next few weeks, of course. Right, QBO next. So quasi-biennial oscillation. Have a look at the autumn update, by the way, because it is a bit of a QBO special. Right, so this is from NASA. This is showing... whoops, let's just pull that back up a little bit. This is showing the QBO phases back to 2018. So you can see, like, the last QBO phase disappearing, last proper QBO phase is the QBO phase, disappearing off the side of the chart just here, this blue-green area. That's almost gone now, since they have been pretty much in a consistent westerly QBO, although it did weaken a little bit here when we should have gone into the easterly QBO last year, but we didn't descend properly, and the westerly QBO just hung on and then re-strengthened through the second half of the year. The next easterly QBO phase is developing. Now you can see this blue-green area descending from the stratosphere down to the troposphere. Of course, this is the stratosphere up here at 10 HPA, and this is the boundary level of the atmosphere that we call the troposphere from 30 to 50 HPA just there. So you can see that the easterly QBO is clearly sort of descending from the stratosphere down to the troposphere. We're in the easterly QBO now, and we're likely to see the easterly QBO developing and getting stronger and powering up through the remainder of the year. Let's zoom in, have a bit of a look. Now, I know one or two of you are a little bit concerned about what's happening in the stratosphere at the moment. So you can see just here, there is a little bit of a weakening of the easterly QBO right at the very top of the atmosphere in the stratosphere, and maybe even into the westerly QBO at the very, very top of the atmosphere in the stratosphere. That isn't all that uncommon, actually, and that's same for westerly QBO as well. So as these phases, west and east QBO, sort of descend from the stratosphere to the troposphere, and so the phases, get stronger in the troposphere, they can start to weaken a little bit up in the stratosphere. So that's quite typical, actually, of what you expect to happen as the easterly QBO is descending from the stratosphere to the troposphere. I would not worry about that. I know some of you are a little bit concerned seeing that, but maybe the easterly QBO is fading again. I don't think it is. I think that the easterly QBO is continuing to strengthen and power up in the troposphere between 30 and 50 HPA, albeit has weakened slightly up in the stratosphere, as it often does, when it's descending into the troposphere or when it's powering up in the troposphere. This is also from NASA. This is showing the QBO phases, west and east QBO phases, back to 1981, 1982. So the first easterly QBO phase that we have here is for the winter is for 1981, 1982. It starts in like the middle of 1981, and the winter of 1981, 1982 is an easterly QBO winter. So it's this blue-green area just here. Again, that's 30 HPA, which is the troposphere. Notice as this is east QBO phase is going on through 1981 to 1982. Above it in the stratosphere up here, we have got the westerly QBO. So that's a classic example. Is you've got the easterly QBO in the troposphere. Sometimes you will start to see the westerly QBO appearing quite early on in the stratosphere. Eventually, of course, the westerly QBO will descend again, and we'll go into the next phase of westerly QBO, as we see there through 1982 to 1983. But while the easterly QBO of 81, 82 was going on, clearly you can see there was that westerly QBO up in the stratosphere. It's very similar for the easterly QBO of 83, 84. That's this one just here. Again, you'll notice that we've got the easterly QBO in the troposphere, I should say, through 83, 84. But above it, look, you can see that there is a little bit of the signal for the westerly QBO right at the top of the stratosphere, while that easterly QBO is going on in the troposphere. Sometimes it's not quite as stark as that. So, for example, this is the easterly QBO of 88, 89, and you can see that we did not go into the westerly QBO in the stratosphere then, but we did get a weakening of the easterly QBO in the stratosphere, and so on it goes. Let's see if we can find another example. So there's another pretty decent example there for 2017-18, our last proper easterly QBO phase just here. You can see that again we've got like a strong easterly QBO signal in the troposphere, but above it, right at the top of the stratosphere, for a while anyway, there was a weakening, not necessarily westerly QBO, but there was a weakening of the easterly QBO in the stratosphere. So when this is all filled in, this period just here from 2021 to 2022, I think we will see like a proper easterly QBO phase through 2021, 2022, but above it, around here, we'll probably see a little bit of a weakening of the easterly QBO, and maybe a bit of a hint of a westerly QBO, but it is not necessarily anything to worry about, as you can see through a lot of the examples that we have here back to 1981, 1982. So I hope that explains that, and so let's go back to this. Where are we on tabs? There we go. So I hope that explains that, and yeah, just because we are seeing a weakening of the ECQBO right at the top of the atmosphere and stratosphere, 10 HPA, I still think we'll see the ECQBO actually powering up in the troposphere, and this is not all that unusual for when you have the ECQBO in the troposphere. Right, let's move on then, have a look at the Arctic and North Atlantic oscillation. So this is how the AO observed and forecast chart is looking. Remember, it's just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, not driving anything in its own turn, just tells what the atmosphere is doing. So when the AO is in its positive phase, you've got low pressure up over the Arctic. When the AO is in its negative phase, you've got high pressure blocking over the Arctic. So current position with the Arctic oscillation is that we are in a positive AO. We have been positive with the Arctic oscillation through most of the summer, although in the second half of June it did go towards neutral to weakly negative, but generally through this summer the AO has been in a positive phase. We're still positive with the Arctic oscillation. GFS ensembles are forecasting that the AO will stay in its positive phase for the next week. Maybe get a little bit of scatter coming along from the very end of July to the start of August. So we've got some GFS ensemble members here that are keeping the AO positive. A few are going a little bit more towards the negative side with the Arctic oscillation. But I think generally we can say that the AO is likely to stay in its positive phase through much of the remainder of July anyway. The NAO is on the move though, so this is the NAO observed and forecast chart. Again, black line shows that through most of this summer we've been in a positive phase of the North Atlantic oscillation. Currently, we're around neutral, though, with the NAO, and the GFS ensembles are actually forecasting that the NAO is likely to go negative over the next week before maybe swinging back into positive territory at the end of July and into the start of August. So we've got the NAO like going negative, but we've got the AO which is staying positive. So the two indexes are out of sync with one another, which possibly explains some of the uncertainty we're seeing within the model output. I suppose when you've got the two indexes fighting against one another like this, one positive, one negative, then you are likely to be seeing, quite a bit of fighting within the atmosphere as the various states are fighting one another for ascendancy, if you like. And that probably explains, at least partly a little bit, some of the uncertainty that we've been seeing within the model output. I think overall a positive AO in the summer is probably going to be a signal for a strengthened Azores high, but then again a negative NAO would go against that. A negative NAO would tend to suggest that the Azores high is being weakened and maybe pushed away from us. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all resolves and plays out. Right, let's do some forecasting then, and then we'll be done on this Sunday round, on this hot Sunday. So here we go then with the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation on London today. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off hot at the moment, of course. We've probably got our hottest day of the year so far to come today, with temperatures widening into the 30s Celsius across England and Wales. It's going to stay very warm as well with these upper air temperatures over the next week or so. We will see a little bit of a reduction in the upper air temperatures like once we get tomorrow out of the way. So we do lower slightly, but they're still pretty hot, still well above average. However, the last week of July, it's been going on for several days in the GFS ensembles the last week of July to the beginning of August, clearly seeing a cooling trend going back to average with the ensemble mean and clearly cooling down during the last week of July into the opening days of August. Precipitation-wise, it's going to be a lot of dry weather to come as well over the next few days. While it's very warm to hot, it's going to be a lot of dry weather. There will be some heavy showers and thunderstorms around, though. You'll be very unlucky to catch one through, like, today, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you'll be quite unlucky to get one. But there will be these downpours around. So something to be aware of. It's going to be hot and mainly dry, but not completely dry. A few downpours coming and going. However, the emphasis is going to be on dry weather and hot weather over the next few days. But from next weekend onwards into the last week of July and then to the beginning of August, clearly it looks much more unsettled as well. And of course, as it's cooling down next weekend, this period just here could be like a thundering outbreak as the upper air temperatures and the surface temperatures are lowering. We could start to see quite a big thundering outbreak, and then the rest of July and into the beginning of August just looking much more unsettled and quite a lot cooler as well. Temperature anomalies from the 18th to 26th of July are going to be significantly warmer than average, not just in the UK but through most parts of Europe. Precipitation anomalies from the 18th to 26th of July are going to be drier than average through central and northern parts of the country, but a little bit wetter than average down across the south and the southeast country. That is going to be primarily triggered by thunderstorms, of course. Latest wind map from earthnorthschool.net shows that we are under a big area of high pressure from the Azores, as we know. So our rain-bearing and cooler westerly winds have been shoved off to the north of us, along with the jet stream as well. So they're going through Iceland, through Norwegian Sea, in towards Norway and Scandinavia. We are under this large area of high pressure that originated from the Azores. We've got the Azores high sitting over the country, and so that's going to be bringing lots of dry and pretty hot weather as well. Right, let's start going through the generic charts then. So this is how the UK Met is looking for Wednesday. High pressure will be centred over top of the country. From weather outlook, high pressure will be over top of the country on Wednesday. Going to be high and dry through the middle of the week. That high pressure is still there on Thursday as well. Friday, high pressure still dominated, but just weakening a little bit. Starting to slip eastwards, pulling in probably a hotter southerly southeasterly flow though at the end of the week. But by Saturday, it's midnight Saturday, so through the course of Friday, really, we find this thundery low developing from Biscay to our south-southwest. That's a thundery breakdown taking place as we get through into the beginning of next weekend. And so by this time next week, it's midnight Sunday, we are sat under a trough of low pressure, a trough of low, and that'll be bringing showers, long spells of rain, and probably thunderstorms as well, and a cool down. GFS midnight run looks like that. Again, high pressure dominates, bringing loads of dry, fine, very warm weather through the middle part of the week. That carries on towards the end of the week. Notice by midnight on Friday, got a thundery low around Biscay into western parts of France. That thundery low then trundles northwards because of Friday, midnight Saturday looks potentially very thundery. That through Friday into Saturday, especially across England and Wales. That's a classic thundery breakdown. Into rest of next weekend, that thundery low moves into the North Sea. It's pulling in cooler air from the north as well, so temperatures lowering, becoming cooler with showers and longer spells of rain. Moving through to the closing days of July, we try and get this little ridge building from the southwest, but that very quickly is flattened off as the next low rolls in just beyond day 10. And just a much more unsettled look to the weather, really, and quite a bit cooler as well as we go through the closing days of July and into the opening days of August. Clearly, quite a significant breakdown has taken place. GM, again, high pressure brings loads of dry, fine, very warm weather to hot weather through the middle part of the week. Then we get this thundery breakdown through Friday and into Saturday as this thundery low pushes north. Expect to see storm watch later this week, maybe even a storm watch live stream. Who knows, sometime around Wednesday or Thursday. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Moving up towards day 10, again, we've got this trough of low pressure over country. Will bring further showers, long spells of rain, and possibly thunderstorms as well. That's how long to get to day 10, Wednesday 28th of July. It's clearly much more unsettled, and it's cooler as well, with troughs of low pressure around the country, even areas of low pressure, bringing showers, long spells of rain, probably thunderstorms, and a drop in temperature. And then the ECM looks like that. Again, high pressure is through the country through the middle of the week, mainly dry, fine and hot. That high pressure carries on into the second half of the week and then begins to ease away. So through Friday, this thundery low developing to our west and southwest, moving into the country through next weekend, bringing a breakdown to the hot and dry weather, bringing an increasing risk of heavy showers and thunderstorms, lowering the temperature, especially later on as that trough moves into the North Sea and the wind starts to pull in from the north. By day 10, which is Wednesday the 28th of July, the next area of low pressure looks like it's about to come rolling in from off the Atlantic, bringing the next batch of cloud, wind and rain, probably for the very end of the month. This is the precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Tometeo.com. So as I say, there will be these showers around triggered by the heat and humidity over the next few days. You'll be quite unlucky to get one of those, or quite lucky, depending on your point of view. But they will be around, albeit pretty scattered. The breakdown to this hot weather happens at the end of this coming week into next weekend. So first batch of thunderstorms pushing northwards on Friday night into Saturday morning. Widespread storms breaking out through Ireland, England and Wales next Saturday morning. Then those storms trundling northwards with further showers, if not longer spells of rain, taking over through the remainder of next weekend. Just some really thundery downpours in there as well. And then by day 10, we've got this band of wet weather in the Atlantic beginning to move towards us, perhaps hinting at a more Atlantic-driven, cooler, wetter end to July, start to August. We'll have a look at the option on the table within the ECM ensembles in our live stream tonight from the Icelandic Met Office. They won't update for around another hour after I've finished recording the video. And also have a look at the CFS-V2 4-week clears, week clears for the next 4 weeks in the live stream as well. The last thing we're going to look at for the Sunday Roundup will be the CFS-V2 700 millibar height anomaly forecast for August. So very different August being predicted compared to June and July. We do still have some above average heights, high pressure, but they're generally to our west and southwest. This white area here looks like a trough of low pressure. We have actually got a trough in over Scandinavia. At the very least, this will be turning the wind into a jet stream and wind direction into a northwest southeasterly trajectory and direction. So it looks as though that will be a lot cooler for August, particularly compared to this July, but also compared to June as well. And whilst high pressure not that far away from us, its position to our southwest probably means that we're in for, if it comes off, of course, it's only a forecast, but probably means that we're in, if it comes off, in for, like a more showery month as well, and quite an unsettled and cool month being predicted there for Scandinavia and northern parts of Europe. The temperature anomaly from the CFS-V2 for August shows no particular signal, but I would have thought that's likely to be actually that's a precipitation anomaly. So there you go, there's a temperature anomaly. Right, so the temperature anomaly for August, it's still the same though, shows no particular signal, but I would have thought like a cooler month is quite likely. Notice most parts of Europe, which have had a very hot summer so far, particularly northern Europe, most parts of Europe show no signal as well. So there is a cool down sort of hinted at anyway for most parts of Europe, UK included in that, for August. And the precipitation anomaly shows no particular signal, but probably a little bit more unsettled. I would have thought a little bit more showery compared to what we've had over the past couple of months or so, particularly through this July. It's all speculation, it all remains to be seen, but it would be typical to have a very warm to hot July and then find ourselves going into a cooler and more showery August. Right, we're done with this week's Sunday Round. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button to make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Tell friends, family, everybody else who subscribe. It's amazing and it's incredible. Thank you for doing this for GavsWeatherVids. If you do sub, you see future weather content. And drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We've got to put on around another 20 subscribers now, that's all, to get to 11.5k. And when we get to 11.5k subscribers, we will then begin the countdown, begin the grind officially to 12k subscribers. And when we get to 12k, we're going to do a giveaway. I do not know what we're going to be giving away yet, but we will be doing a giveaway when we get to 12k. So that's going to be absolutely fantastic and amazing. Please give us a sub if you can. Right, so we're done with that one. Don't forget to check out the autumn update and the 7 a.m. Forecast. We're going to be back live streaming from 6 o'clock. It's going to be a hot live stream, so you will see how hot it is in GavsWeatherVids Towers when we live stream at 6 this evening. But for the Sunday Roundup for this week, that's all for now. And thanks for watching. See you later on.